This is Jean Kratzer, and you're listening to Exploring Santa Cruz. I have two wonderful guests here with me today that I'm going to introduce. The first is Jordan Layman. Jordan is the co-founder of the idea Fab Lab in Santa Cruz, and with him is John Shemanski. John is one of his many volunteers, and he's also a maker himself. So between the two of them, there's going to be a lot to learn. Now, when I came in the studio today, first of all, welcome to you both. Thank you for coming. It's a pleasure to have you here. And I just wanted to tell you that when I came in the studio today, and two people separately asked me, what are you going to have on your show today? And I said, I'm interviewing people from the Idea Fab Lab in Santa Cruz. And they said, huh? What's that? So, in the unlikely event that there is a third person in Santa Cruz who doesn't know what the Idea Fab Lab is, Jordan, could you explain it to us?
Sure, I'd love to. So first and foremost, we are a makerspace. It's sort of a new idea for some people, but it's a place where many people come together in order to make things. But we are also a fabrication lab, and that is a place where there is a specific set of tools that people can use. Things like 3D printers, laser cutters. We have a wood shop with large CNC router tables. We also have a jewelry making zone. We recently got a CNC metal mill, which is pretty nice.
Can you explain what a CNC metal mill is?
Sure. A mill is something that you use to carve into metal. And so this is a computer numerically controlled mill so that we can have the computer do the carving directions for us. Allows us to do very complex things that you wouldn't be very challenged to do by hand or with a manual tool. So we're that as well, a Fab Lab. We're also an art gallery, and we have a resident artist program, and we celebrate First Fridays and have a community surrounding these tools and art as well, making art with the tools.
That sounds amazing. And could you explain to us who is there? Who's coming in? How does this all work? How do people get there?
Yeah, sure. So it's sort of like a gym in that people pay a monthly membership fee, and they come in and they get access to the tools that they want to use. They get trained with a safety class and a basic use class to use the tool and hopefully not break the tool. And then they can come in and sort of do whatever they choose to do. So we get quite a few different kinds of people that come in. And some of them are hobby makers, people who just like to make things in their spare time. Other people are artists, and they're specifically using the tool to enhance their art production methods. Some people are running their business. They make things in like a small-scale manufacturing setting with the tools, so they're making a lot of the same one or variations, and then selling those maybe online or at craft fairs or who knows. So we have quite an array of different kinds of people who come in to use the space for various reasons.
And one of these people, who is also a volunteer, is John Shemanski. John, could you tell me a bit about how you got involved and what it is that you're doing there?
Yeah, like Jordan was saying, there's a variety of different tools there. And so for one of the projects I was working on, I saw that they had some laser cutters there. And I was just hoping to, try some new things out. And, lo and behold, I landed in the Fab Lab, and I've also been able to explore some of the other things there. There's a wood shop there, and so it's been and also Jordan got me going on making some battle bots and things like that. So it's kind of an organic experience. You start somewhere and you never know where you're going to be. So but my real interest was just I was working on a prototype. Children's toy, a basketball hoop, and I wanted to cut some acrylic, and they have a large scale or a fairly large couple of them laser cutters. So that was my initial pull into the Fab Lab.
And if somebody wants to join the Fab Lab, how do they do that? How much does it cost them? Who do they have to contact? Where do they find you?
Well, the best way to start is to come to one of our open houses, which we hold each Monday evening from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. And we're in the old Wrigley building that's on the west side. Some people are familiar with that. But we're all the way on the west side off of Mission Street. And you can look us up on our website, ideafablabs.com. And that'll help get you to where you need to go. The directions are a little bit off if you search Google. You'll get there, but it'll be challenged a little bit. So going to the directions page on our website is definitely the best way to find us and get clued into when we have our open houses Monday evening. So people come in at that time and they can see the space, they get a tour, and then after that we have a new member orientation that we hold. It takes about an hour. And then, you'll probably be sitting with me and I'll show you around the shop and sort of tell you what the policies and the rules are. And then the membership fees vary from $45 to about $120 per month. And so that gives you various levels of access to the equipment. Some of the simpler zones, like the jewelry zone or the costume making zone, are on the cheaper end, about $45 to $55 a month. And the complex power tools like the CNC router table is on the higher end, $120 a month. So people pay this monthly fee and then they get access to the tool, they get trained, the basic use training, and then they can come and do what they like.
I've been in there to spend some time and feel what it's like there, and I can tell you it's electric. There's so much creativity, there's so many ideas floating around there. And one of the things I noticed is that people help each other. So you have this sense of community there and interaction between the people who are working on their projects. Is that really the case?
Yes. It's probably one of the, how do I say this? It's the best part of the whole experience, the business, the product, I guess, whatever it is that we're doing, the service that we're offering. The very best part is that you get to meet people who are doing things all around you, and oftentimes they will help you. Oftentimes they will inspire you. And it's definitely been the best part for me to get to know all these people and learn so much from what they have to offer.
Yeah, and likewise, for me, I come from a engineering background, so it's been a really great experience, doing some cross-pollination with artists and whatnot, so that I can share some of my engineering and learn a little bit of from the art world. So it's a really good experience that way too.
Yeah, it does seem that there's a kind of a marriage going on there between art and technology. And I imagine both sides are learning from each other. And that surely must be one of the more exciting things happening there.
It's definitely actually built into our model. The art side of what we're doing, the gallery side, our resident artist program is actually called the Idea Fab Labs Tech Art Incubator Program. And so what we do for this program is we will, through whatever, perhaps word of mouth or through an application process, find an artist who wants to enhance their process with technology. We bring them into the lab as a resident, and we have them, we engage them in a discovery process, and then through this, it's about 6 to 8 weeks, we have them come in usually. They develop a whole body of work involving their initial process and digital fabrication techniques. And so then they come out the other end with a full body of work, and then we showcase that work.
How do you find these artists? Are they young artists?
Some are. We've had, I would have to guess, but I think we're around 26 to 28 artists that we've had come through our program. And yeah, some of them are established artists from around the world, and some of them are local people from our communities who we said, well, you're really doing this. Do you want to give this residency a shot? So it's been a lot of word of mouth, but we've reached out to people through social media before, had people come to us before.
And it's all free of charge for the artists?
It sort of depends. Sometimes people are having it depends on what the art is and what they're trying to accomplish. We've helped fund this before. We've done some of that. We've also had grant funding support what they're doing. Usually they pay for the materials and we provide them with access to the tools, generally.
When I was looking around again, I saw some pretty extraordinary things, and one of my favorites was the sandbox, a kind of virtual reality sandbox. Can you explain what that is?
Yeah, absolutely. So what she's describing is the augmented reality sandbox that we built. And what it is a table, like a sand table, sand in it, and above it is a projector and a depth sensor. And the depth sensor sees the height of the sand, and then the projector projects a topography onto that overlay. And as you move the sand around playing in the sandbox, it redraws the topography, and it has a color to, denote higher or lower levels, like below a sea level or something like that. And we built one of those as a fun group project, just because it was something fascinating that we thought we could put together. And it's really something that lights everyone up, whether they're young or old. I've got caught playing in it, distracted and late for a meeting. But we're actually embarking on a pretty large-scale production of these for institutions and museums. We sold one to the Monterey Bay Aquarium last year, and hopefully someone from NASA reached out to us recently.
Wow.
So we're going to hopefully be providing a lot of these. We're sort of in full-scale marketing and about to be in production for, if you're interested in buying one, go to the website.
Well, I know that you have it out in the hallway, and when you walk by it, there's just no way you can keep your hands out of it.
It is fun.
I think anybody of any age is going to get involved in that sandbox. Something else that you're doing is you have these regular meetups, and I was noting two of them that I'd like to hear more about. One of them is Robot Wars, and the other one is LEDs are awesome. Could you tell us about those two?
Yeah, so Robot Wars actually is John and I sort of really collaborated together and have been putting a lot of work into this meetup where we have robots crashing into each other, RC robots, and you should tell.
Basically, what we were trying to do is develop a lower cost robot. When you look online and look at some of the kits that are out there, they're in the like 200 range, 200, and so with all the 3D printing and some CAD skills and ability to make some motor controllers, we've been able to put together some platforms that we hope people will come in and be able to build some other types of robots. And we're basically just getting going. So it's just been a good time. People come by, they bring their kids, and we basically just either put them in their hands and let them go, or some of the kids and their parents are working and building some of their own.
And do these robots do anything other than crash into each other?
Well, right now we have these basic wedge bots, and some of them are now having basically they're crashing into one another, and some have weapons, some spinner weapons. We're trying to come up with a tumbler bot as well. But the real focus is using the 3D print facility and being able to just make them there and create templates or an electronics platform so that people can use their creativity and do something more.
And you mentioned people come in with their kids. Is there a minimum age for coming into the labs?
Let me sort of get that on two fronts. For membership, what we do is we say that the first child is free with adults membership. So we don't have the ability to provide childcare. So having someone under the age of 18 there unattended isn't something that we're allowing right now. So for membership, that's totally the way that it's working for now. For Robot Wars, the reason this all started was because one of the other gentlemen in the building who's been involved in our facility for a while, his son turned, I think, 10, and he said, hey, we want to build robots, and we should get everybody together, and we'll do this BattleBot thing, and it'll be really fun. I said, okay, yeah, I'll facilitate that, and that's when John got involved too. And so we've kind of got this duality going with the Robot Wars, where for younger children, you spend some money and you build this robot, and then someone comes in with a sledgehammer and smashes it with their robot. It can be kind of a intense situation. So we sort of aimed for a little bit less destructive to start. And what's happened, and the whole thing has been very organic, the way it's been building up for the last few months, is that some of the kids and their parents have started to build more intense weapons. And so we're sort of separating it. The less destructive and then the more destructive stuff is starting to come, but we're going to build an enclosure and some more like a safe
and
safe
work on some
viewing area.
autonomous bots and things like that. Some that are just maybe they just cruise through a maze automatically or something like that, and they're not necessarily engaged in any crashing.
So we're sort of exploring all these fronts with the meetup, which is on the second Friday of each month. So I think May 10th is their next.
Sounds fascinating.
Our next one.
And tell me about the LEDs are awesome.
Yeah, sure. So LEDs Are Awesome was the first meetup we really started doing regularly, and I personally do a lot of LED geometric art and stage designs and things like that. So I have a lot of experience with that, and there's several other people in the shop who have even more experience and technical expertise than I do. And so I said, this is something I'm very interested in, so let's all get together third Thursday of the month, and let's talk about LEDs. I got a lot of information I can share. If people want to come and ask questions or share their projects that they're working on, then we can do that. And so we've been doing that for over 6 months now, maybe closer to a year.
And what kinds of projects are they working on?
Well, there was a gentleman who came in. He was trying to retrofit his very elaborate train set. He had a whole train setup he was doing, and he wanted to be able to do thunder and lightning and all this stuff in the atmospherics around his train. So that was a cool project he kind of clued us into. There's some really cool LED. I don't know if people know about poi, but there's like poi spinning is an sort of a aerobic art form that people do where they spin balls on strings. So you can put LEDs in these, and then they light up, and they can do this thing with. It's called persistence of vision, where if you blink the LEDs at just the right rate and the position of it, you can show an image in the path of the LED object as it spins. People might have seen this on a bicycle. If you put a bar of LEDs on a bicycle and you program it correctly, you can have it display an image as the wheel spins as you ride your bike. And so people are, we're showing people how to do these things, helping them enhance their existing projects with LED or with better programming for their LEDs.
What about that RFID one? Did you do that at that night too, or were you controlling
that one that we were working on?
Yeah.
No, that's kind of a secret project I haven't really revealed yet.
All right.
Yeah.
Sorry, man.
No, it's okay. No one knows what it is, but we're working on some other cool technologically infused art projects too.
What is the coolest project that you can mention? And after that, because we've only got a few minutes left, I have a challenge that I'm going to put to the two of you before you leave. But tell me the coolest project you have there at the lab.
That's a really tough question. I'm not prepared for that one. There's so many cool things going on, and I'm proud of a lot of the things that I've made, but I get to see people. This is what I'm the most proud of, and it's also the coolest thing. The coolest thing is to have someone come in who doesn't really know what they want to do and maybe is a little uncertain about what their experience is going to be like, and they've kind of gone out on a limb, coming to a place that's a community, and not knowing what to do. And then watching them, often very quickly, within a couple weeks, become sort of enlightened into this idea that they have this revelation, or maybe it's not even that grandiose. It just sneaks in, and they're doing something that they really enjoy. They found this thing, or they saw someone do something else that was similar to what they wanted to do, and now they've embarked on this mission. And they know that they need to use the laser cutter for this, and they need to 3D print this other thing. And to watch that all come together is really cool. That's the coolest thing. It doesn't really matter what it is.
That sounds wonderful. That sounds like true learning and discovery and creativity. And now, the challenge that I have for the two of you, and this I guarantee you've not been prepared for, and that is, that our brand new radio station, KSQD, is known as K-Squid for obvious reasons, because there's a relationship between the squid and Santa Cruz. And you've been talking about what you can do with the lights. So my challenge to you is, because we know that some squids in the ocean can create this kind of flashing, iridescent, changing kaleidoscope of colors for various reasons, my challenge to you is to have the people in the lab create an installation using the LEDs that will be a portrayal and a movement portrayal of the squids in the ocean changing their colors with all of the characteristics that you can put in there using the LEDs. And if you're able to do that, we'll get a photo of that, or a video, better still, on our website, and we'll invite the makers to come in here and talk about it.
Oh, that sounds great. Yeah.
Sounds great, yeah.
Well,
I can see it already.
that's fantastic. And I want to thank you both. The time has just whipped on by. Jordan and John, thank you so much for coming. And we really appreciate you telling Santa Cruz about the labs. And I hope you'll have many, many more people going there to look for themselves and explore.
Thank you so much, Gene. Keep exploring Santa Cruz.
Absolutely. Thanks, Gene.
Thank you. And now, let me just tell you that you're listening to KSQD 90.7 FM in Santa Cruz, and you can hear us on the web at ksqd.org.